Welcome to Illo Talk. I am Cory Kerr, and today I want to talk about one of the most frustrating and annoying things that can happen in client relationships and what you can do about it. The hidden decision makers. So I'm in my work garb, my uniform, because this is lunchtime. I'm gonna try to do more like as I think of ideas, record a video. And so I had an idea, so I'm gonna record a video. Okay. Here's the thing: when you are working with clients, there's often the situation that you will have where whether it's a client or a boss, you're doing work for somebody else, right? Whether you're internal or whether you're external. What will happen oftentimes is that you will run into issues where everything seems fine and everybody in the room is really excited, and then you go away and the next day or a little bit later or something, all of a sudden everybody's mind has changed. What was approved is no longer approved. The goalposts have been moved. The complete direction of the project has been changed. And what you have run into is a hidden decision maker. Hidden decision makers are some of the most frustrating things that you can imagine in a relationship with a client. And a hidden decision maker is like this. Hey, this design looks great. Awesome. Yeah, I've been talking to you in a number of meetings, and so I'm glad that you like this design. And let's move forward with it. Cool. Awesome. That's approved. Great. So then you start moving forward with it, and then the next, let's meet again in a week. And you meet with them again in a week, and they're like, I hate this. And you're like, whoa, what happened? Oh, I just don't like it, right? And you're like, what's going on, right? And that continues to happen. You start seeing this pattern. Then sometimes they'll say who the hidden decision maker is. A lot of dentists and lawyers and things, their spouses will often come into play. Because it's kind of a family-owned business or whatever, and sometimes they'll tell you, oh well, I talked to my wife and she didn't like it. And sometimes they won't. Sometimes it's their boss. Sometimes it's whatever. But the key fact is that the person who's making the decision isn't in the room with you. They're not. You don't know what they want. They've never communicated with you, and so somebody else is relaying that information to them. It's getting filtered down or pitched or whatever. And then it's, if possible, and this isn't always possible, get all of the decision makers in the room. Anybody who has a stake. A lot of people call this situation stakeholders. Get all the stakeholders in the room. I remember one time we were helping somebody with a Kickstarter project, and they'd be great in the meeting, and then they would go away, and then a couple hours later they'd send an email saying all the things that they hated about everything. I'm like, what is happening, right? And so one time in the meeting, he said, we had a weekly meeting with him. He said, yeah, so I was talking to my wife and she said X, Y, and Z. And I said, hey, it seems like your wife has excellent taste and that you value her opinion fairly highly. And he said, I do. And she does. And I said, you know what? Instead of going back and forth, let's get her in these meetings. Let's invite her to these meetings. Would she have time to help us out here? Right? And once she started coming, everything was great. We knew what she wanted. We knew what he wanted. All the decision makers were in the room. We were able to do stuff. But hidden decision makers are like buried landmines, right? If you drive over them, all of a sudden, boom, everything blows up and you're surprised and you don't know what's going on. So just a little tip that I've noticed is at the start of a project, be very clear. Like, I want to make sure that anybody who's making a decision on this is involved throughout the process. And ultimately I want one person to ultimately be in charge. There's one person who's going to make the call on this thing. They can get advice from other people and opinions from other people, but who is the decision maker? Not always are you in a situation where you can get to that person, but if you are, then ultimately that's the person that you are trying to please, trying to do work for. And so if you can get them in the room, maybe not every time, but ultimately you know who they are, you've heard what they want, and you're producing something for them, things go a lot better. So Anyway, just a tip on hidden decision makers, because nothing is more frustrating than having positive feedback throughout every milestone, and then right at the end, right before the finish line, all of a sudden you run over a landmine, project blows up, and all of a sudden, oh, there's a hidden decision maker that no one had any idea about all of a sudden. And it's like, okay, cool. Because at that point in time, you almost have to start over because they haven't been brought along in this process. And so I get into contracts and stuff like that because in the contracting process during that freelance, you need to identify ultimately who signs off on things, and then if somebody in the contract signs off on things, then then you can change your mind all you want. It'll be a change order, and I'll have to kind of figure out how to do that and work through that. But you don't get this infinite loop of revision process that never ends, where you end up starving to death because you can't charge them anything, and they never end up getting a project because you starved to death. Anyway, just some thoughts. All right, so there was some thoughts on that. I'm trying this thing where I'm editing this on the fly, and so I'll have some pre-recorded things, and I'll have some things that are live like this. But you can check my stuff out at corykerr.com, and that is right there. Ooh, and if I point too far, my finger goes away. I can lose half my head. What if I just... that's not working as well as I would like. Anyway, I should have this line up so that I go behind. I'm going to do this 1 second. Watch this. Watch. Nope, not that one. Where is it? This one? I'm going to have this line up with that column. Now it looks like I'm going behind some of these. Hey, look at that. That's fun. Okay, sorry. Stupid green screen games. Anyway, can't remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, Josh Kemble and I have started a thing called the 48-hour art check, where every 48 hours, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we spend 15 to 20 minutes checking in on each other, and we're doing this for a number of reasons, but I would recommend that you guys check that out, because it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to be showing kind of the progress. Both of us are working on books. He is working on a comic book. I'm working on a picture book. And we're going to be talking about our progress, our challenges, our successes, how we are staying motivated doing things. And it'll just be tiny little tidbits. Each segment is 2 minutes long, and I get 3 segments, and he gets 3 segments, and then we talk for 3 minutes. And so it'll be 15 minutes total each time. And so check that out. There's a playlist. It's going to alternate between his channel and my channel, and it'll be awesome. Anyway, also I'm curious in the chat if you guys have any solutions for hidden decision makers, those people that can kind of just surprise you and be like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that Bob has to sign off on this, and Bob hasn't been involved in any of the meetings at all. But for me, as soon as I figure out there's a decision maker that isn't in the room, I'm like, let's get this guy in the room. All right, let's get this girl in the room. Let's all sit down and get this going. But if you guys know of any ways to avoid that, I'd be super curious in your freelance projects. Let us know in the chat and whatnot. And share, comment, tweet, twit, dance, other things, action verbs and stuff. And now I'm going to play the outro music. Yeah, that was weird. Sorry. Bye.